Greetings, adventurers, and welcome to reading the Menhirs Fate Rules. I have no idea what day we are because I've been skipping days too. So today you're getting 2 sets. I might even do 15 minutes just because I'm not... actually, no, tomorrow will be fine. But I missed stuff yesterday. Anyway, we were at the enchanting table and I just narrated what's on the enchanting table because we finished that call. So I'm going to do skill proficiencies now. So in skill proficiencies, as with the previous table that we read out, most of the skill proficiencies are aligned to spirit, which is again the case here. And the first one's two-handed weapons. Then you have polearm, light armor, medium armor, heavy armor, ambidextrous, throwing weapon, range proficiency, shield proficiency, I've seen worse, regeneration, focus +1, which is explained as this adds 1 focus to your current focus and can take you to above your maximum. Vigor +1, this adds 1 vigor, I'm assuming, to your current vigor and can take you to above your maximum. Focus regain restores 4 of the character focus. Vigor regain restores 2 of the character vigor. And then those are all the spirit ones. And then there's 1 earth skill proficiency aligned. It's toughness, and this increases by 1 for each use on an enchantment. I don't know whether you already discussed that. There's 2 fuels listed in the table, which is 1 vigor and 1 focus, which is the same as the other table, and then roleplay effects are either light, medium, or heavy. There we go. So that's the text version of that table. Excellent. All spells have a melee range until you take the increased range pick. This turns the spell into a throwable version. Weapons or foci with fuel are the caster of the call, so no spell vocals are required. However, without fuel, the character must have the vigor or focus themselves, an appropriate weapon, as they would if they were casting the ability without an enchanting item, including spell vocals. So, then we have fuel. Fuel in enchanting refers to the pools of strength that fuel those effects. Calls that can be produced by vigor require either your personal pool of vigor to power them or require at least 1 point of vigor fuel on the item itself. So the calls that require this can be drawn from the vigor effects list. I'm going to click through to the vigor effects list. Sadly, Safari can't open the page because your iPhone is not connected to the internet. Okay, we're going to have to connect the phone to the internet in a second because this is going to go wrong. Calls that can be produced by focus require either your personal pool of focus to power them or require at least 1 point of focus fuel on the item itself. The calls that require this can be drawn from the spells list. If a call can be found on either list, then it may use either fuel source. Right, we're going to pause so I can connect to the internet so I can actually go to those lists. Okay, so I have now internet, which has told me that actually I've already read this out. So vigor and faith, by the way, came before magical and weaving skills. So that means that it's in one of the previous chapters I've already read. So we're going to go back to enchanting. And we're at the bottom. So then we have roleplay effects. Guess what? We're roleplaying. Who knew? For additional essence costs, you may add roleplay effects onto your items. These effects will last for the duration of the item and always be in effect on the character when holding the item. You may add roleplay effects to your items. Those roleplay effects can activate either when the item is picked up or at an appropriate thematic moment. The user is able to choose. Light roleplay effects are free. Medium or heavy roleplay effects may be added by spending additional flicker. Duration of the effect. Light effects are short-lived, lasting 30 seconds. Medium effects can last for 30 minutes. Heavy effects can last for 3 hours. Guide to writing roleplay effects. You may, if you choose, add role-playing effects to your creations. While we do not wish role-play effects to dictate to characters what they are thinking or feeling, we instead encourage you to describe the physical or environmental effects of the creation on the target so that it may allow them to interpret and act accordingly as their character sees fit. So for example, your creation, rather than stating that the target is frightened, might instead describe that the character's heart is racing and that they feel a pit in their stomach, or that a very loud noise or sudden move is a shock to the senses. We've read this before, by the way. This is somewhat identical to the apothecary. Other roleplay effects may include direct instructions. For example, you wish to seek out adventure. Sensory specific effects like all colours seems brighter or all sounds seem muffled, or they may include perceived environmental factors such as the air feels thin to you, the ground is moving. Additional notes: consent and collaboration. Heavy roleplay effects in particular should be discussed between players and Menhirs Fate staff to ensure that they fit with ongoing narratives. There's two people sneaking by. Somebody showed me their ass. That's all that I'm gonna say about that. Consent and collaboration. Consent and collaboration. You do this. Je doet dat nu. Schitterend. Anyway. But that was very funny for me. Maybe not so much for you having to listen to this. Anyway. So, heavy roleplay effects in particular should be discussed between players and Menhirs Fate staff to ensure that they fit with ongoing narratives and are enjoyable for everyone involved. We will not approve any roleplay effects that we feel do not meet our standards for safety or codes of conduct. Some effects, such as love potions, are not allowed and must reflect the game's community standards. Your enchantment and apothecary refs will not allow those effects to work. For this reason, please check with them before creating any roleplay effects. Sounds reasonable. Next chapter, on to combat rules. This is what people want. Combat in LARP. Right. Global hit points. In Menhirs Fate, each player character starts with 3 global hit points, which can be increased with armor and skills. For the purpose of global hits, it does not matter where you have been struck. You lose 1 hit every time you are struck in combat. A normal, unarmored character can take 3 points of damage before entering a critical state. Any increase to your hits also increase them at a global level. You cannot gain different hit points on different sections of the body. Head hits. While in Menhirs Fate, the head is a viable target when in combat. However, it should be considered a target of last resort. It is advised that characters aim for other locations during fights. If you are struck on the head, it will do 1 point of damage as per a strike in one other location. But if there was a damage effect attached to the call, this will not work. The 1 second rule. The 1 second rule. Because being hit and receiving damage in Menhirs Fate allows the 1 second rule. This means you can only lose 1 hit from each source of damage every second. It does allow you to take more than 1 damage per second if you're hit by multiple sources of damage, such as 2 separate people hitting you at the same time. The ambidextrous skill may allow you to attack fast enough to hit multiple times very quickly, but you will still only cause 1 damage per second. All right, this is aimed at people who do like this type of hitting in LARP. It does not work, okay? 1 damage per second. I get where this is coming from, because it looks shit too. We're role-playing. Just try to not look shit. These are my personal additions, by the way. This is not written into the rules, but there you go. Armor. For armor to be effective and provide benefits, you must have at least partial coverage as described below. Only then will it stop damage calls and increase the number of hits a character can withstand before entering a critical state. Armor does not count as separate hits for the purpose of healing. When the character is healed, their global hits are recovered with no distinction between hits provided from their base hits, armor, or other sources. Partial coverage. Armor safety can be found here. We're going to go over there and another time. Armor is categorized in partial coverage of the character's location. For this reason, to get partial coverage, they will need 2 locations. And then 4 locations are listed, which are head, torso, both arms, both legs. Full coverage armor safety can be found here. For an armor to count as full coverage, they need to cover their torso and 2 other locations. All right, so 2 locations in total. All right, so either your head or both arms, that counts as 2 locations, or your torso and both legs, that counts as 2. So that's partial coverage. Or full coverage means torso and 2 other locations. So head, torso, and both legs, or head, torso, and both arms, for example. That would count as full coverage. Armor is then categorized by type of armor worn. Light armor, partial coverage. A character wearing light armor, such as soft leather furs, mage armor, this covers all clothing that looks like armor, or padded material excluding simple cloth, gains 2 global hit points. Light armor, full coverage. A character wearing light armor, such as soft sorry, I got tired of reading there, but that's what I'm doing, so let's do that, the last bit again. So full coverage on light armor means a character wearing light armor such as soft leathers, furs, or padded material, excluding simple cloth, on all locations gain 3 global hit points. And we're going to stop there because that's 11.5 minutes. Bye bye.